This is the Tigers Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Detroit Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, goodness sake, the series from hell. The Tigers are swept by the Athletics. I don't know what to call them, the Sacramento Athletics. They're not the Oakland A's anymore. Whoever they are, they just mopped the floor with the Detroit Tigers and put the exclamation point on it tonight with a 7-0 win over the Tigers. More errors from Detroit. We'll break that down. We'll try to get through it. And thank goodness, a much needed off day later today because, yes, it is late and the third straight late night game on the West Coast. So thanks for staying up late. Make sure you fire up those comments because if you stayed up this late and you endured another night of bad baseball, you deserve to have your voice heard because woof, that was brutal. This is the Locked On Tigers Postcast. I am your host, Jake Rietma. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake_Rietma. Make sure you like today's video. Go ahead and subscribe to Locked On Tigers as well. Check out the Daily Show with Scott Bentley, and let's try to power through this post-game show because as I've said time and time again in the open, tonight was brutal. Last night was just kind of wild. It was a nightmare of a game. And Monday night, you've got Tarek Skubal giving up a grand slam to essentially lose the game. So all things that you don't expect to happen. But then again, the Athletics have just dominated the Tigers for a number of years now. And as I've mentioned, things have gone from bad to worse as it relates to defensive play. And again, at times tonight, the Tigers look like a Little League baseball team throwing the ball all around the yard. So we begin where we always begin. Our biggest talking point, our biggest takeaway from this one after the Tigers are swept by the Athletics.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Among the many things I'm disappointed in the Tigers 3-game series here against the Athletics tonight, and it doesn't all fall on his shoulders, so don't take it this way, but Casey Mize and his story as a Tiger has a lot of chapters. It's got a lot of layers, and for the amount of success he's had this season, tonight just felt like a night he could have been a stopper for the Tigers. He could have taken the ball and attacked this, which give the Athletics credit, a potent offense at time. And he could have gone out there and really just reveled in the opportunity to be that guy for the Tigers and stop the losing skid and ensure the Tigers salvage a game from the Athletics. But instead, he's absolutely shelled, and it's back-to-back starts where it raises the concerns that, if I may go ahead and classify it as old Casey Mize, where you have no confidence in this guy. I have no confidence in this guy. And as we inch closer and closer to the postseason, the question still remains, who's the second starter in this rotation? For a team that should have World Series aspirations, it's Skubal and then who? After tonight, it's certainly not Casey Mize. And I think that's the biggest disappointment in tonight's happenings is that Mize, in no point in time, at any time throughout the start, looked like a guy that you would trust to have the ball in a big moment. 3 1/3, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, walked 2, struck out 4 through 78 pitches, and couldn't get that swing and miss. And for every shortcoming that Casey Mize has, it just feels like getting, blasted around the yard when he's at his worst is what constantly comes up. And I don't know how to change it. I just know that if this baseball team is going to reach the destinations we hope they will, you can't have Casey Mize taking the ball in a big game. And the second game of the postseason. And I think tonight was just more proof to that. And I'm not going to go down that road. We're not going to do this game where every time, pitching, some portion of the pitching staff looks terrible, I'm going to say, yeah, see, I told you I was right at the trade deadline. We didn't do enough for any valuable pieces because Charlie Morton gets shelled in this series. Mize gets shelled. Not that he was an off-season or an in-season trade acquisition, but point being, nights like tonight and series like today is when you, and I'm guilty of it, but you just get accustomed to going back to how you felt in that Philadelphia series or in, during some of the losing streaks. And when you still have that lingering thought that not enough was done to plug up the holes that this team might have. And you're only as good as your weakest link. And I know that's a cheesy sports saying, but here we are in late August and we're reeling after in the midst of a 4-game losing streak against a team like the A's who, they've played better since the All-Star break, but certainly not a playoff team. So lots of comments to get to. I always appreciate everybody chiming on in, especially on these West Coast games. They're late night, but that's okay. You guys stay up because you guys are the best. Rufus T. Cat leads us off. How? I mean, how does a whole team of pros forget how to catch and throw a ball for 3 games? Like how? That's how I feel. I mean, Casey Mize throwing it all over the yard. Wenzel Perez, starting back and unable to catch a fly ball, and then the list goes on. And it's just disappointing that it all snowballs and it happens in one series. And when it rains, it pours. Rufus T. Cat, Demetrius McNeil is up next. Demetrius McNeil, appreciate your comment. He says, only 2 Tigers hits, and they are suffering a major consequence, and they are no longer the best team in the American League. Come back next game after the day off. That's another part. You're fighting for that. First round bye is kind of a football term, but you're fighting to not have to play one of the wild card teams. And so, if you can avoid having to play that opening round in the postseason, obviously that's what we'd all sign up for. But nights like tonight certainly are not helping that cause. Coven is up next. Not going to win many games, where we are once again making minor league pitchers look like Cy Young candidates. That's a good point. Morale is coming in. It's just his 2nd win of the season. And, obviously with the small sample size, who's to say the type of pitcher, but 7 innings, 2 hits, 7 strikeouts, and just mowing the Tigers down. And sometimes the Tigers do this. I swear they let one loss lead into the next. And in this case, 2 difficult losses that, were anybody's game, that sort of thing. And the late one last night in the extra innings, I get that, but it felt like the finale against the Minnesota Twins not too long ago, where there's no life to this team. And I get it. That's going to happen in a 162 game season, but man, there's got to be some fight. There's got to be a competitive edge, and we just did not see that tonight at any time in this series. Anthony Robinson says they don't care. It's part of the new generation. Maybe that's it. The young whippersnappers don't care enough. But you got Torkelson, jogging, and sure, he thought that ball was out. Okay. And the sight lines are different in a AAA park. I heard every excuse that Benetti would make, and everybody on the FanDuel Sports Network broadcast that has to be so gentle. But good Lord, you could say, run out of the box, and maybe that's an inside the park home run. And on top of that, you got Wenzel Perez with a 0 as far as the ability to have a productive out to get that run home with a runner on third and less than 2 outs. Not sure why we aren't scoring against one of, if not the worst bullpen in baseball. That's from Coven. Indeed. Yeah. The A's have nobody. That's why they haven't been a successful team. They have the offense. They just don't have the pitching. Some positivity here from Angelo. Their pitcher was good. It's okay. They'll bounce back. Anthony Robinson says that whole series was brutal. Indeed, it was. Angelo keeping us with our eyes on the big picture. We're still winning the division easy. My A's bias. To be fair, A's officially have a top 3 offense, and good luck getting through this young core. Kurtz is having one of the greatest rookie seasons of all time. Then there's Wilson. Yeah, I said that the other night. I hate to say if you're an A's fan, don't be, because they'll just move again, and it's hard to follow that team with John Fisher as the owner. But at the same time, there's a ton of young talent there. Position players wise, this is one of the more exciting teams the Athletics. And Nick Kurtz and it's not just the youngest guys, or the rookies, but up and down that lineup. And we saw it over the last 3 games. All righty, let's go ahead and take a quick timeout. We'll keep the lights on here at Locked On and read a couple ads, and then we'll come back with our biggest turning point, our player of the game, and look ahead to the Royals series. That's next on Live Locked On Tigers Postcast. Hey, this episode of the Locked On Tigers Postcast is brought to you by Upside. Hey, Locked On Tigers Postcast fans, are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code FOOTBALL and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You could make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas you already need. At first, I thought it was too good to be true, but it's totally legit. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo code FOOTBALL for a limited time 25 cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code FOOTBALL. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. Today's episode is also brought to you by Game Time. There's nothing like catching a baseball game live. The energy, the crowd, the chance to see your team in person. But actually getting tickets, that's the tough part. Login, screens, surprise fees, queues, you name it. It all takes the fun out of it. And that's why I use Game Time, the app that gives you the advantages back to fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by Game Time Guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. That's my favorite part, because look, some of these other apps, you think, oh, it's a great deal, and then you go to check out fee. But no, I love the price you see is the price you pay. Now, I also love the zone deals. That helps you pick the section. Game Time picks the seats, and you save big. It's faster, cheaper, and less stressful than any other way I've ever bought tickets. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. And again, that's promo code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDONMLB, for $20 off your first purchase. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. This episode's also brought to you by FanDuel. August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day, and that day is past. So don't you worry. There's still plenty you can get at FanDuel. And all you have to do is go to FanDuel.com, because you know what? Maybe you're eyeing a long shot division winner or ready to crown your Super Bowl champion before week 1 even kicks off, and this is your moment. So take a flyer on the MVP, crown your champion in August, or parlay your division winners, dark horses. Visit the FanDuel app today. Start planning your futures bets now, because Futures Day is already passed, but that's okay. Visit FanDuel.com. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Play your game. And we cruise along on this episode of the Locked On Tigers Postcast. Glad to have you along, as the Tigers have lost 4 straight and have been swept out of town by the Athletics. So what can you learn from this one? Well, how about our biggest turning point? That's next.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
The game started so brutally for the Tigers in every way. I mean, obviously the second inning, the big 3-run inning for the A's, but you knew Mize didn't have it right away, and you knew that it wasn't going to be a game for the Tigers when they just showed, again, zero life. And, you know, I picked on torque a little bit for not running that out off the bat. And it's the top of the second inning. At that time, it's just a 1-0 game. You got to run around third, less than 2 outs. Paris has to find a way to tie that game. And one little mishap like that shouldn't send you into the spiral that it did. But at the same time, you want to talk about where this game turned. It's right there. How about our player of the game?
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
The Tigers love to do this when they take a pitcher who doesn't even have a photo on the roster, by the way, Luis Morales, and make him look like a Cy Young winner. It's his second win of the season, and he mowed the Tigers down. I mean, what a performance from him. 7 scoreless, just the 2 hits. He did not allow a run, and he struck out 7. So obviously that's going to be your player of the game. All right. And I got to give some credit to my A's bias here. Biggest turning point, A's offense and Detroit's defense. Insane. Yeah, we could say that for the whole series. I mean, goodness sakes. The Tigers, I mentioned it, 9 straight with an error, longest streak since 2009. 10 errors in their last 7 games, I believe it is. How many did they have? I guess technically 2 nights. So that would be 11 errors in 7 games. And it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. So off day tomorrow at a much needed time. We can all agree there before a big series against the Royals. I mean, make no mistake about it. Now that the Tigers just decide to play a poor brand of baseball, you got Chris Paddock going on Friday, Seth Lugo for the Royals. Flaherty will go Saturday and Skubal Sunday. And back to that same conversation, I don't know who this team's second starting pitcher is. I really don't. And I honestly would like to see Troy Melton start. Just see what the kid's got. I mean, we know who Chris Paddock is. We know who Casey Mize is. We know who Jack Flaherty is this season. That's my 2 cents. A couple more comments. Anthony Robinson, do you think Hinch talks to the players? I don't. I've had that discussion. I had it last year. And mind you, last year I did the Locked On Tigers postcast, so I wasn't in the clubhouse post game. The year before that, working for 97.1 The Ticket, I was in the clubhouse post game, and I just don't get the sense. And obviously, it's different from when media is allowed in the clubhouse post game. Obviously, there'd be plenty of opportunities for conversations to be had, and maybe he does individually, but I don't foresee any type of closed door team meeting or anything like that happening. Baseball's just, I guess it's not like that. It's not rah, Dan Campbell, fire you up. And even though that's my personality, I love that stuff. I'm not really sure JB Bickerstaff's relationship with his guys. I think there's some of that's done. And again, I'm just speculating, having not been in a Pistons locker room in a long time. And same with the Wings in their dressing room. So yeah, I know it's a fun conversation as we close out a Locked On Tigers postcast, but it's late. Thanks for staying up with me. Thanks for liking today's video, which is a clever reminder. If you haven't yet, it's not too late. If you missed any of the show, it's always available on YouTube, Locked On Tigers. So make sure you subscribe and go ahead and give us a nice favorable review on any of your favorite podcast platforms. That's going to do it for me tonight. Have a great rest of your evening or morning, technically, and we'll see you next time on Live Locked On Tigers Postcast.